one thing about the Knicks, once you hit them with a good, nice,
they mail it in.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's done.
Welcome back to the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. And tonight, to join me for this Heat Knicks Game 6 is Coach Anthony Varela. He is the assistant coach for Somerset Academy varsity, and you're also the head coach for JV for Somerset Academy.
Correct.
Introduce yourself, give your credentials, tell us.
My name is Anthony Varela. Been coaching ever since I was 18 years old. It's just been a journey and a grind for it. I've been at Pond Charter for 5 years. Started at the YMCA. It's just been an honor and blessing to be here today. So, state champion. I've been through it all.
Okay.
Like study my X's and O's. It's a process just to get to where I'm at today. So.
Okay. It's a process for sure. And we're going to get to know Coach Anthony, obviously, down the line. We're going to do some other pods like we have with the other coaches from Legacy and other coaches from other programs. Today, though, like I said, we're going to be watching. It's a first iteration of this style of the pod. I haven't done one like this where we're actually going to sit down, watch the game. We're going to give our pregame thoughts. We already have our whole pod structured here, so you're prepared. You got your stuff ready. I prepped you with the questions that we're going to be talking about. We got, obviously, Heat Knicks, Game 6. Heat, obviously, we'll start with this one, right? I'll give you the first question, the first topic. Who has the most pressure going into Game 6?
Man, thinking about it, I think the Heat do. Actually the Heat do because it's home court advantage, and you don't want to go back to the Garden. That's it. Yeah. That Garden on Game 5 was just going crazy. So the Heat have a lot of pressure on them.
For sure. We didn't even cheers to start this episode. So let's do a late cheers. Good little bottle of Dow. Not bad. Yes, you work for Total Wine as well, so
wine is everything for me.
You already know.
Wine's everything for me.
I'll get to my point. We're on the same page. I think for sure Game 6, it's at home. I think the pressure's on the Heat too because, like you said, you want to avoid playing a Game 7. Game 7s, we know, they're a lottery. You don't know what happens in a Game 7. It's a toss-up.
Who's gonna kill for it? Like,
you don't know. You don't know.
They're just gonna go all out for it. But at the end of the day, like, I'll give my prediction on who wins it.
Right. We'll get into that one. Yeah.
But honestly, like, the Knicks I don't think that the Knicks have that much pressure, win or lose, because they've already succeeded. They put the brand of the New York Knicks is back. Like, everybody's tuned in to see what they're gonna do. Yeah. And regardless of win, lose, or draw, we're going to see they probably will get another free agent after this. Yeah. And they're going to I think the Knicks will be top 4 next year.
Yeah, or maybe right where they're at, right? Because they're a 5th seed, right? So you would say they're going to sneak into a 4th seed next year?
They're going to be top 4 next year for sure. They're going to pick someone up to accompany all those guys, to be honest. Okay. Obviously, they're definitely on the rise. Both teams, in terms of like general expectations outside of the Heat fan base and the Heat franchise, they both overachieved. Right. For what we've seen, right? Like overachieved. Oh, for sure.
Right.
The Heat have overachieved as well. Like
both.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought without Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo that we would be making it this far?
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy because I don't know if you agree with me. I haven't talked to you about this. To me, the Heat look better without Tyler Hero. They have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's 15, 20 shots that they're hunting. Like, it's now dispersed to everyone else. You're seeing guys like Kevin Love, Max Strus getting a much bigger flow. And sometimes Tyler Hero tries to force it because he's trying to prove that he's one of the best scoring guards in the NBA.
For sure. So, and like you said.
And it kills the flow of the offense.
Yeah, no, and exactly. So instead of you're getting all these streaky, maybe he's hot, maybe he's not. You're getting those crazy shot attempts. You're spreading them out, like you said, along the team. The team
You're running more offense. Coach Spoelstra, one of the best in the game. He honestly just when I study him and the plays that he runs for everyone, it's just a beauty to watch. Yeah. No, and I think that I think when you know that you're down some players, the team is more focused because you can't make as many mistakes because now there's more opportunities for those guys that don't usually get as many chances.
right? So we can move on to the next topic, next question right here. Obviously, disappointments, right? We talked about maybe one disappointing thing for each team. You started with the first question, so I'll start with this one. We're going to give basically one disappointing fact that we think about from the Heat and one from the Knicks. To me, it's the Heat's three-point shooting in this series. Obviously, in the first round, they shot an insane. I did some searching. It was 45% as a team, right, in the first round, which is crazy, obviously. And then you go to this round, and they're shooting 31.2% in the series, right? So, they could definitely do better shooting from three. I'm not saying they have to shoot 45, but somewhere in the middle, right? That's one disappointment. I'll give my second disappointment. Obviously, Julius Randle. I think that this is a guy that was supposed to be the best player on the team. It's been Jalen Brunson this whole way. He shoots normally 75%, right? I did some digging here. 75% for the season. This series, he's at 65.4, right? And the free throw line in this type of series where there's no space, where it's a tough slugfest, it's a rock fight, it's low-scoring games, the free throw line is the easiest opportunity for people to score right now. So that has to be better. What about you? What two disappointing things?
To add on with Julius Randle, sure. He's in the bottom of all play. If you look up the top 200 players that have played in the playoffs, he's right on the bottom as far as field goal percentage. So it's kind of a disappointment too. I just think that the moment's big for him. He's never played in this type of moment. I think he's the type of player where he has to get used to playing in the playoffs and stuff like that. And it's tough performing at the Garden.
It is.
You're talking about you either got to perform or you're going to get criticized really hard in New York. And those New York fans aren't easy at all. My biggest disappointment with the Knicks has been Opie Toppin and Josh Hart. Those are two guys. Okay. Like Opie Toppin, when you look at his numbers, first top 10 draft pick. He's been in the league for a couple. You're expecting a little bit more. You're 6'9" and 225. I'm expecting you to lay your impact in the game. Like with the Heat roster that we have right now, there is no reason why he should be struggling throughout this series. He had one good game. I think it was game 3 where he had 15 points. But ever since then, it's just been 0. And Tibbs lost confidence in him too. Yeah. If you realize his minutes has gone down because he's not really productive. I think there was a possession where he shot an air ball 3. Yeah. You're sitting here and you're looking at it like, man, like this guy has tremendous upside in it, honestly, when the Knicks need him most, because at the end of the day, the Knicks cannot rely always on Jalen, RJ, and Julius. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. You just can't. So
you need a collective effort.
And then Josh Hart, literally, I get that you play real good defense, but at the end of the day, man, like you got to give me at least a catch and shoot 3 here and there. Like you need someone other than Quigley to come out there and give a spark when these 3. Because to be honest, for them to win these next 2 games, they're gonna have to pull a Jalen Brunson play the whole game. Yeah, because it's just lopsided when those guys come out. Their plus and minus, I think, I haven't looked it up yet, but I bet their plus and minus is big when those guys are off the court.
Yeah. That's a good point. You gave me obviously a Knicks disappointment point. Is there anything you're disappointed in the Heat in this series?
A little bit. Gabe Vincent, to be honest.
Yeah?
Gabe Vincent, because Gabe Vincent, he hypes you up. He gives you those 20-point games, 15, 20-point games, and then he gives you those 7 or 8. So it's inconsistent with him. Yeah. So you really don't know where you're going to get out of him. Yeah. So honestly, like, as a Heat fan, it hypes me up to see a game where, like Game 5 in Milwaukee, he had 23, 25 points where he just then he's struggling against the Knicks. Don't get me wrong. The Knicks are one of the toughest defensive teams out there.
Yeah, they're tough. Yeah.
But it wasn't as tough as Milwaukee, too. So if you think about it, so it's like, what's the struggle? What's the holdup?
You say Gabe Vincent. Is it realistic for a guy the caliber that he, the kind of player that he is to be disappointed when technically I would say a player like him overachieved? So, right? Like in the first series, obviously he was awesome in the first round. He's had some flashes, but do you think it's realistic to be...
At this point, though, with the amount of success with the Heat have, there's a standard for you to show up. So, like, you've already established that you could play at that level. Yeah. You can't just take the night off or night on. Like, with Heat culture, you just got to stay consistent. And that's my biggest thing is, like, for the Heat to win game, I'll get into my keys for the Heat to win. Yeah. But honestly, like, Gabe Vincent, it's been an inconsistent watching as a Heat fan. It's been like, damn, this guy, he went from a 20-point scorer to a 13, 10-point scorer. And it's not even like they're watching Jimmy put on the show because we still haven't seen playoff Jimmy.
Yeah, in this series.
We have not seen playoff
It's a tough series to see that.
It's
a bigger team throughout, I guess I would say, like wing-wise. They're lanky, they're tough, right? So
physical.
Yeah, they're very physical.
And it plays to that Tom Thibodeau's on the other side coaching his former player. He knows his tendencies. He's been around him for years. He knows what's going to frustrate him from here and there. Yeah. So, and Jimmy knows in that too. Like, Jimmy doesn't want to play into his strengths because he's knows Tom Thibodeau is going to stop it, and then he doesn't want to take the ego out of him. Yeah,
that's a good point. That's something that I didn't even think to write down. You're right about the Thibodeau factor. So I started with the last question, obviously the disappointments. What about, we talked about off camera, the keys to winning the game for either team. So give me 2 keys that you had prepared for the Heat, and then 2 keys you have for the Knicks.
Well, 2 keys for the Heat, honestly, is their 3-point shooting. They're going to have to shoot the ball and limit the Knicks in transition. On Game 5, anytime they were off a miss or a turnover, the Knicks were pushing it up and down the court.
Yeah.
So on those runs, you see literally transition threes. They're going to have to stop that and put the ball on the net. That's what it's going to come down to be honest, because you've seen stretches where both teams go cold. I mean, they're building the next house here in Doral, so it's like...
Yeah, you're right. It's been an ugly series from 3.
Ugly series from 3, both teams.
So that's one of your keys for the Heat, you're saying.
They're gonna have to shoot the 3 ball. A couple key players to me, Gabe Vincent, Kyle Lowry had to outplay Jalen Brunson. That's going to come down to it. Jalen Brunson, to me, he's entering that superstar mode.
Yeah, he's been that. He's been that,
and he's letting everybody know, I am a superstar in this league.
He's letting them know.
And what's crazy about it, he doesn't beat you with any crazy moves. It's just straight fundamentals from Villanova. Yeah. Any Villanova type of guy from Jay Wright, you're going to see those guys 2-foot step finishes. It's crazy. Yeah. To me, it's crazy. Like,
so real quick, so you gave me 1 key, a couple of keys for the Heat, right? You would say
3-point shooting. So they got to shoot the ball well, and they're going to have to limit the Knicks in transition.
Okay.
I think in the half-court set, the Knicks have not figured out the Heat, because there's possessions where you see Julius Randle shoot a wannabe James Harden step back.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch that. It's hard to watch because with Randle, there's so much more upside to him. I think if you simplify his game a lot easier, he drops a couple more pounds, I think he could be another superstar.
Okay. What about some keys for the Knicks to win the game? Yeah.
They gotta get back to their identity, and their identity is rebounding.
Yeah.
Bam,
which they did well last game.
Yeah. But Mitchell Robinson and Hardenstein were a force against Jared Allen and
you're right.
And Evan Mobley. Like those are twin towers right there, and they were a force and they dominated. Yeah. They went from dominating that to now they're getting punked by Adebayo, which is one of our weaknesses. We couldn't rebound the ball.
That's right.
Like we couldn't rebound the ball well, and now you're seeing Bam's impact. In this series, I think I'm really proud of Bam. He actually took the criticism. I think he shot less mid-range shots this series than against Milwaukee due to the drop coverage. But I think regardless if they're dropping on him or not, he's taking it to the rim and he's making his impact. Now he's playing above the rim, which was a problem against Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think it's funny because we have one of the same keys for the Heat, in my opinion, too, was the shot making around Jimmy Butler, because obviously they're going to make his job easier when the spacing is on the floor, making the Knicks defenders honest. When they're shooting well, even if they're shooting average from 3, whether they're cold or they're not cold, you always kind of have to worry about the next shot because those role players have proven that they can knock down threes. So that's a big key to me, so I agree with you on that. Separate key for the Heat that I would say is quicker decision making. They were 29th in pace in the regular season. They've played much faster in the playoffs, but not too fast, right? So I would say they need to be quicker, more decisive when they get into their offensive sets, because the longer you wait in a possession, the harder the look is going to get when the clock winds down. Right. And we've seen it in this series. It can get ugly.
It can. Yeah. But I think that works against the Heat with the transition going up and down, because Spoelstra wants to be in complete control of the game.
That's true.
So when you're going down into the half-court sets and stuff like that, time is going to be in his favor.
Yeah.
He uses the time in his favor when he's up.
Yeah.
The only time I think when they're really going to push the ball is when they're down. You saw that against in the minute stretch when they went on like a 12-0 run to come back. That's when they started pushing the ball.
Yeah.
But
well, not so much pushing it, but I'm saying when I mean more decisive in the sense of when you
rip through, I get
like just get to whatever you make a decision on doing, make it quick. Don't second guess yourself.
And it has to be consistent.
Right.
When you look at it on film, believe it or not, I teach the same things to my kids. There's possessions where they're literally driving baseline and they're getting that. Oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
They're getting that pitch pass to the corner and they're reversing the ball. Like, it's beauty of basketball. Their brand of basketball is just one of the best in the league because they stay in their role and they don't go outside of it. And that, honestly, they're reviving of you don't need the superstar talent to be winning games. You just got to play the right brand. Yeah. And
that's realistic. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Like, that brand of basketball should be at every level be taught.
Yeah.
I do it with my kids where we call it Miami passing. We put our warm-up drill all the time when we started practice. We go 4 out, and we have one in the baseline. I wish I could demonstrate it on a clipboard. But pretty much we're working on getting one more passes, getting a paint touch into a kick, into a layup, or into a pull-up jump shot. And once you start practicing it and it becomes a habit, as you can see the Heat, they're real selfless. So,
yeah, for sure.
And also, too, like, as I watch the series, I see that Jimmy is letting the other guys get reps.
Yeah.
As far as get your confidence up because whoever we play, whether it's Philly or Boston, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need that.
Yeah.
Because against the Knicks, you might get away with one playoff Jimmy performance. You might have a playoff Jimmy performance, but that won't be enough against Philly and Boston.
Yeah, for sure. So we gave our keys, we gave our disappointments. We decided who we thought was more under pressure in this game. Underdog fantasy betting app. They have Jimmy Butler's over-under for points at 28.5. Is it over or under? What do you...
I think he goes over 28.5
over 28.
Tonight.
Is he playing the whole game tonight? I think I saw an alert where he's planning to play 48.
Yeah, if he is...
Yeah.
Listen, when it was game 4 with playoff Jimmy erupted 56.
It was 56 game 4. Yeah.
Game 4. When he did that was probably an iconic.
That was at Miami.
At Miami.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm expecting one of those. One of those from him because I don't think he wants to go back to the Garden. He'll do whatever it takes. You don't want to go back in the Garden.
You don't want to go back. Okay,
and honestly, we don't want to hear Stephen A in the morning.
That's true too. So you're taking the over. I'm gonna say because of the way this series has played out, it's been such just a fight in the mud, and it's a desperation game. If Jimmy does play the whole game, I'm going to say that maybe they go through a cold stretch where he just takes the game into his own hands, so I'm taking the over too. I don't think we're going to see a 50 or a 40, but I think if the team isn't having it early, I think he just kind of just asserts himself, you know what I'm saying? So I'll take the over on the 28.5. So we both take the over. So obviously the last topic before we get into this game, like I said earlier, we're doing a pregame. We're going to obviously show up again for halftime after we take this break, and then we're going to do a post-game talk, just basically reacting to what we saw. Last topic, let's pick a winner. I'll give you the first pick. I wouldn't be surprised.
I honestly think the Heat are going to take it out. I think their level of urgency is going to step up in Game 6, especially at home. I think they're going to come out and shoot Gabe Vincent, Kyle Lowry, like I said, have to outplay Jalen Brunson tonight.
Yeah.
I think the Heat are going to adjust to the Knicks really well. I think they're going to throw some schemes where they're going to trap the ball screen on Brunson.
There's going to be some focus on Brunson.
They're going to my biggest key for the Heat is they're going to trap the ball screens with Jalen Brunson. And to take a little bit back of what I said about Gabe Vincent's been playing 94 feet up on Jalen Brunson. He's been taking a beating.
Yeah.
So I take a little bit back of the disappointment, but at the same time, offensively, he's going to have to show up tonight because I'm expecting one of those games where he gives you your 15 and 18 and Kyle Lowry the same. I think Kyle Lowry coming off the bench has been a great leadership.
Yeah.
Leading that spark off the bench that the Heat really need.
And the role players play better at home.
Absolutely.
For the most part. So
especially Max Strus. Anytime
Strus juice.
Strus, he just lights it out.
No, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick obviously I'm gonna pick the Heat. You know, like we agreed they have the most pressure, but the role players play better at home. The Heat are a really good bounce back team. You know, they just lost the game. I think they're gonna just run away with this. I mean, I don't know.
I'll give you an interesting stat. They're undefeated in the playoffs other than the Hawks.
You're saying at home or
at home?
At home. Oh, that's true because against the Bucks they won both home games, and they won the first game at New York, and you won the both at home. That's right. Oh, that's good. That's a good point too.
So it's hard to beat the Heat at home.
One more fun fact that I decided to kind of dig up. I Googled kind of like the first quarter of each game, and Game 5, which was the game the Knicks just won, that was the only game that a team wins that they don't win the first quarter.
Wow.
So every team that has won the first quarter, besides Game 5, has won the game. So that's a low-key key that I would say the first quarter is really important.
And then I could say this. One thing about the Knicks is like once you get them down bad, I know Game 5 was desperation.
Yeah.
But one thing about the Knicks, once you hit them with a good, nice...
Oh, they mail it in.
That's it. Yeah. It's done.
We'll end with that. We'll start watching the game once it goes live. And then, like I said, we'll come back and we'll do the halftime.
Yeah, of course.
You know, the halftime will be a couple of quick points. We have that laid out too.
Yeah, we have that laid out.
And then after that, we'll talk about if the Heat end up winning this game. We'll talk about who the Heat prefer to see. We'll get into all that quick stuff. So yeah, let's get into that break then. Let's get right to it. We're back here from the break, obviously. Halftime. The game we talked about first quarter was super important, obviously. I want to obviously get a couple of takeaways from you. You know, I'll give you the floor to give me a couple of takeaways from the Heat, a couple of takeaways from the Knicks. Obviously, we've been watching the game together, talking kind of side by side. So go ahead and give me your couple of takeaways from each team. Yeah.
It's a back and forth game, chess match all over again.
Yeah.
The Brunson's in foul trouble. Even though he had a tremendous first half, Brunson's in foul trouble. That's gonna be huge. And the way the Heat attack him now. Also Randall and Barrett are also in foul trouble. So the Knicks stars are in foul trouble. What surprised me about the Heat is the way Kyle Lowry's approaching everything. He came out the bench and already has 7 assists. 7 assists. Even though they're 2-11 from the three-point line, Kyle Lowry's looking for everybody. And also the biggest standout out of all this is Bam. Bam's playing out of his mind right now. I think it's 16, 18 points. He's really being aggressive and exposing those Knicks bigs on the perimeter.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we both agreed the point of focus is obviously try to get Brunson off of it. Like, just try to focus on him because he's really the heart and soul of the Knicks offensively, and he's having a huge game. Obviously, like you said, the fouls they're picking up. He's got 3 now, right, to end the half. So that's going to be a big focus point for the Heat, obviously. Brunson's shooting the lights out. That's something that he's been kind of wishy-washy in this series. We saw an 0-for-7 game.
22 in the first half, right?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it was 20 or 22 in the first half, 22. Around there. He's shooting the lights out from 3. He's really the biggest problem that the Heat have.
Playoff Jalen. We can call him playoff Jalen if we need to now.
He's really playoff Jalen. Changes-wise, let's get into that topic. So obviously those are a couple of takeaways from us. We both agree Jalen Brunson's the biggest problem. Julius Randle kind of, we haven't really...
We need Randle to step up. Keep the bag simple. Like, if the Heat are going to go in the zone, if Randle's in the game and the Heat are in the zone, he needs to get into that high post and work from that mid-post area. Stop going from the perimeter. Yeah. And from there, I think he's a great mid-post type of guy where he could just hit that one move and go. They need to find – everybody just is stagnant. The Knicks are stagnant when the Heat are in that zone. So, watch Spo go into that zone and expose more Knicks players. Obi Toppin hit a couple shots. I mentioned Obi Toppin. He's stepped up a little bit. Josh Hart is going to have to hit some shots. Yeah. Hit that nice wide open mid-range. But the Heat are living with that. Yeah. The Heat are living with that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, before we get into these changes that we want to see or maybe something we want to see a focus on, we're probably going to agree on the same thing. it's interesting to see, like we talked about, we never really know who's going to be the person to show up sometimes. And in this game, it's been Bam. He's been
huge.
He's been
I don't
huge.
think without that Bam spark, we'll be down 10. I think without that Bam spark, we'll be down 10. Because right now, Strus and Robinson are not hitting. We need to hit more outside shots. I think they ran that Spain doubles ball screen for Robinson. That worked out pretty well. I hope they keep running that. Spo's going to get into his quick hitters. And hopefully we get an interruption from Jimmy. Yeah. As a Heat fan, I'm excited to see an interruption from Jimmy.
Yeah, it's been a quiet, selective shot-taking Jimmy we've seen so far, right? Like, we've seen him make some good decisions. We've seen him he knows that Bam has got it going, right? And he's looking at his other teammates, like you said, Kyle Lowry also. So it's only a matter of time before we see Jimmy kind of show up, right? So let's see. What about some changes? In I guess for the Knicks and for the Heat, give us if you have any changes or if you think something needs to just be focused on.
The Knicks, the Knicks defensively, they got to stay consistent. They got to keep pushing the ball up in transition. When they're in transition, the Heat are struggling with them when they go down in transition. Yeah. So I want to see the Knicks go up and down transition and get everyone else involved. I think they're way too stagnant and they're relying on Brunson way too much. Yeah. Randall needs to find a way to get to the free throw line. He is really trying to he hit that spin fade away. That's not really a clean look. We're trying to get efficient, clean looks from Randall. And then RJ Barrett is doing a good job getting into the free throw line, but RJ needs to establish himself in the perimeter as well. Let Brunson and Randall do the work. He's going to come off as that third guy. Yeah. But now it's going to come down to Randall and Barrett if they stay out of foul trouble. Yeah,
for sure. My takeaway in terms of changes, I think it's pretty simple. I think, obviously, the good sign for the Heat is Jalen Brunson in foul trouble early, but I'm going to say this. Got to get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands, right? That's got to be your point of attack defense, right?
Trap the ball screens, even jump trap a little bit. But honestly, Spoelstra's into that Belichick mindset. All right, we're going to let one guy eat, but I'm forcing someone else to beat you. Exactly. Yeah. So they let him get 20, 30, whatever he's going to get, but we're going to force someone else. Right now, Randall's struggling. There's not that other guy that people are going to be worried about that's going to open up Brunson's game. Either Barrett or Randall are going to have a struggle. Yeah.
It's looking that way.
It's looking that way. And if they're in foul trouble, and also, too, for the Knicks, Hartenstein and Robinson are going to have to find a way to be more aggressive.
I feel like I haven't been... This is
a Knicks team that's third in offensive rebounding. Yeah. They're real physical guys, and if Randall's got to get involved into the boards, if your shot's not falling, go get some rebounds and battle on the boards. Yeah. Right now, the Heat are just dominating and grabbing off the misses, and that's what's keeping them in the game, even though they're shooting less than 15. I think it's 15, 16% from three.
Also, I don't know about you, but it feels like just watching this first half, I feel like I haven't seen Robinson. Like I feel like he's not. It feels like he's not even.
Did you see him drop? He dropped a nice dump off that I think Brunson or Randall fed him a nice dump off, and he just dropped it.
It was just
like he's out of it. Like Mitchell Robinson is gonna have to make an impact some way somehow, or else the Knicks are gonna go small ball, and Spoelstra all Spoelstra's gonna do is just feed Bam. Yeah. Right now, Bam's punking Hartenstein and
he sure is. He sure is. What about expectations? What do you expect to see? Obviously, we've gone to, we've already seen the first half. What we've seen so far, what do we expect to see?
I expect a similar rundown. The Knicks are going to get into their little run, but you're going to see the Heat. Now, I expect more guys to step up. I think Strus and Robinson are going to hit a couple more shots, and also Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin. They're all going to step up. Kyle Lowry is going to keep facilitating. They adjusted to Kyle Lowry off those ball screens. Yeah. I'm expecting Kyle Lowry to keep being the playmaker that he is. And some way, somehow, Thibodeau's not letting Jimmy get off. So Jimmy's really relying on these guys. Yeah. So I think we should have gone under.
I think the Heat look good, because like we said, Jalen Brunson shot the lights out, right? We know that. Okay. It's a close game. The Heat were coming from behind. We talked about the first quarter is so important, but the Heat look really good in my opinion because we still haven't seen that Jimmy Butler next level eruption yet. I expect to see it. I think that the way this game is going, the team's kind of, Bam and Lowry, It's only a matter of time before we see Jimmy.
You're seeing the Heat. They're going to wear down the Knicks little by little.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a boxing match. All right, we're going to throw a little jab here and there. You can hit me a couple times, but some way, somehow, I'm going to hit you with a knockout punch. And expect that in between the first 3-4 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And you know what? The Knicks are probably going to adjust, maybe focus a little more on Bam now because he's killing them right now.
Probably overhelp on the rolls.
Right.
Since the Heat are not hitting shots, they overhelp on the rolls and force them to shoot. But those couple possessions that the Heat move the ball from side to side, they're playing so selflessly.
Yeah, definitely. The ball movement's looking good. So we'll get into this last topic before we start to watch the second half. It's the speak now or forever hold your peace topic, where are you going to stay strong? Are you sticking with the Heat through this game?
I'm sticking with the Heat through this game, and I'm going to be strong. I'm sticking with Jimmy over 20 and a half.
For the over 28 and a half?
I'm still sticking
I'm gonna take that too. I'm going to say this. I like how the Knicks started, and I'm going to say I am sticking with that Heat pick too. I think the Heat are going to win this game.
Expect Brunson to be a little bit more conservative now that he has 3 fouls.
Yeah, that's true.
He can't be overly aggressive now because if he picks up his 4th or 5th, he's going to be sitting on the bench.
As soon as he gets that next foul, it's going to be tough.
And it could be offensive too.
Right.
All it takes, like Max Strus took that charge.
Yeah.
It could take a Max Strus
Kyle Lowry charge. We know he draws those.
The Heat are good with charges. Kevin Love, expect the Heat now to overhelp and look for those charges.
Yeah. All right. Well, we gave our takes, obviously, for the halftime. We're going to take a break here, watch the rest of the game, and then we'll give you guys our reactions post-game. All right, we're back. We watched the end of the game. It was pretty much the Jalen Brunson versus Miami Heat. It was no Julius Randle. We saw he's taking bad step-back threes, sidestep threes. Mitchell Robinson's nowhere to be found. R.J. Barrett is missing free throws. It's really the most Heat way to win a game. It got as dirty as it could, like just a low-scoring game like we've seen throughout the series. The Heat they're just so resilient. This is the game that we never thought it was ever in doubt. You know, as we're watching that fourth quarter, we thought to ourselves, well, I was telling you while we were watching the game, I said, Jalen Brunson hasn't come out in the fourth quarter. So up to that point, like around the 6-7 minute mark or so, there's no way he was going to come out the rest of the game, like at any point. So he basically continues to cook. I'll give you the floor. You had the Heat obviously winning this series. You had the Heat winning the first series. So I'll give you your own little floor space to kind of give us, go ahead, man. Give me your takeaway from the rest of this.
3-point, when it came down to, same thing happened with the Bucks, same thing happened with the Knicks. I've been a Heat fan since I was little. I know what the kryptonite for the Heat is shooting. You could go back to the J.J. Barea days, Jason Terry, Patty Mills, Danny Green. All those guys give me nightmares. Why? Because they knock down 3-point shots when they matter most. And honestly, it's going to come down to, in order for you to beat this Heat team, you're going to have to knock down shots.
Yeah.
And in the second half, the Knicks couldn't hit a shot to save their life.
No.
R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle combined 4 of 24 in a game 6. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
You're looking at that, and it's like, damn, like,
yeah,
where's my Robin?
I know. Yeah,
Jalen Brunson's out here like, yo, where's my Robin when I need it most?
Yeah.
And it's not even like the Heat didn't even have a Robin. It's just like Max Strus knocked down that top of the key 3 when you needed it most. Yeah. Duncan Robinson hit that corner 3 shot after missing that 3-point. Like,
Kyle Lowry gets that poke.
Yeah, exactly. He got him off the shot fake. It's like they hit shots when they needed it most. Yeah. And listen, Gabe Vincent had that. If it wasn't for that Gabe Vincent foul, oh man, look, we're talking about the Heat just ran away with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's funny you bring up the Gabe Vincent. We almost let that slip away. Gabe Vincent with just obviously the flagrant one. It kind of gave the Knicks life. You saw kind of the few Knicks fans that were at the game. Yeah.
Thibodeau ran that nice sideline out of bounds, and look what Grimes just did. He airballed the 3.
Yeah, that was basically, that was it.
that was it right there.
That was it. Yeah.
That was supposed to be their set shooter play.
Yeah. That was it. And it was a good look.
Great look. Look. Listen, I would have thrown Fournier in there. I have more trust in Evan Fournier over Quentin Grimes. I love Quentin Grimes. I love this game ever since Alabama. But damn, man, like give Evan Fournier, or you have a veteran Derrick Rose who's been in that.
Yeah.
You should have thrown in them for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, they got no looks.
No looks whatsoever.
Yeah.
They didn't have it's another hard grinded Heat win.
Yeah. Another one for the books. Another one
for the books. And I'll be honest with you. In my opinion, I'd rather see Philly. I
was actually just going to ask. So obviously, right now, all we know is there's a Game 7 between the Sixers and the Sixers and the Celtics on Sunday. You're saying you'd rather see Philly than the Celtics, even though you've seen the Celtics kind of have some stretches where they just live and die by the three, and that's something the Heat can really make you struggle. If you're a team that relies on 3-point shooting, the Heat can really take that away. I don't know. You say you'd rather see Philly.
I'd rather see Philly, and the only reason why is because I know for a fact that James Harden is not going to be as consistent as Jason. I'd put my money on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown over James Harden and Joel Embiid. And if you look at how deep Philly is, other than Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris, who are you going to go for a shot if you're in foul trouble? Yeah. So honestly, like the matchups, I'd rather see Philly. If we go with Boston, they're coming out the bench with firepower with Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, they're deeper.
Yeah, they're deeper. Yeah. They're a lot deeper, and they could hurt the Heat.
And their 5 out is a real 5 out.
It's a real 5 out, exactly. So you really got to sit there. And then Robert Williams, I think, will give Bam nightmares. As tough as Robert Williams is, he will give nightmares.
It's gonna make the Heat make a lot of tough decisions because it's like,
they're more scrappier.
Yeah, are you stretching out Bam for Al Horford, or are you stretching him out obviously to when they run 5 out? Because Joe Mazzulla, he loves his 5 out. I mean,
he loves his 5 out.
He was gonna die on it.
He was gonna die on it, of course.
Until obviously Game 6, where he had no choice. He ran that double big lineup with Robert Williams and Horford, which I was kind of pushing for. I wanted to see more of that. We'll see what happens between the Sixers and the Celtics. This was a huge Heat win. It's crazy to see how far the Heat have gone. Obviously they upset the Bucks. They beat the Knicks, which we all kind of thought that was going to happen. And it's crazy to also think about the fact that the Heat are doing this without home court advantage in every single series. And they're going to have to do it again to get to the finals too.
Exactly. And the other thing too is I didn't mention Philly goes a lot more zone than Boston. Yeah. That plays in our advantage.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That plays in our advantage with the 3-point shooting and everything. So I really want to see Tatum and Brown give me nightmares. You heard my endorsement on Tatum. I love Tatum. Yeah. Honestly, Tatum's a top 5 player in the league, in my opinion.
I think he can be.
He can be.
He definitely can be. Yeah.
He has the Mamba mentality, which very few players do have. I have this.
He has the mentality. He'll definitely shoot an insanely inefficient night, but he's gonna find out.
Like last night, he had 16 fourth quarter points after an off night.
After a horrible night.
Horrible night. But those 16 points that he stayed confident and stuff like that, you're not seeing that right now from Julius Randle or RJ Barrett after an off night.
Yeah.
So he has that extra spark in him, and he really humbles himself as one of the best basketball players in the world.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Also, according to himself. But that's kind of what he said too. So, all right. So, I mean, this is obviously a fun game to watch. I can't believe that we're talking about the Heat in a conference finals again with the roster they have, with the path that we saw before the playoffs started.
And I'll tell you this, and listen, as a Heat fan, I'm watching all this. We didn't see playoff Jimmy.
And we didn't see playoff Jimmy in this game.
I mean, he had his moments. He had the bank shot. He had the and one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he didn't dominate.
Yeah. It was Bam's game. It was really everyone else. It was everyone else.
Let's be honest. Let's call it how it is. Tom Thibodeau knows Jimmy Butler more than any other coach in this league, and he threw everything at him.
Yeah, they did a good job.
This was a series. I think this was a series where all these players stepped up. They actually stepped up, and they're gonna need it more.
Yeah,
you're gonna see it more. And honestly, I would love to see again Philly because Tatum and Brown are two-way players.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There's no two-way. Tobias Harris is not going to really slow down Jimmy Butler.
He's an okay defender. He's got good size.
Exactly.
But he's a very streaky player. Like you saw in the last game, I think he went 1 for 7.
My only concern
in that game 6,
if we would match up with Philly, Joel Embiid.
Is Embiid.
Embiid.
That's why I thought you would be more worried about that, because that's a clear domination matchup.
That
the Heat are going to have to collapse on and leave guys open.
But like I said, if there's performances that we'll live with Embiid going 30 and 10 every game.
So you would actually not help off of the shooters. You would just let Embiid cook.
Let Embiid do, and then we're gonna force James Harden to be 30 and 10 every night. It's gonna take James Harden 20, 30 every night for Philly to actually.
Oh yeah, it's because if you're letting Embiid cook, he can definitely cook. But if you stay home on those other players, or you're letting the other players beat you, you can win a lot of games like that. You can definitely win a lot of games like that.
And with my philosophy of shot making, at the end of the day, it's the playoffs. You got to make shots. We were matched up with Boston, and it came down to the fourth quarter, and both teams are cold on both nights. Boston has Tatum.
They have shot creation.
They have shot creation and it's not just one guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Brogdon's a great shot creator,
even
too.
Marcus Smart will give you a game or two. Will give you 16, 19 points.
Yeah.
So it's really scary of what Boston could actually really do.
And they're more athletic.
Whatsoever. They give the Heat more nightmares.
I've heard that take, too, from a couple of Heat fans, that they'd rather see the Sixers, obviously because the Sixers are just a bad transition defense team.
Yeah,
because of Harden and Embiid on the floor. When they're missing a shot, when they don't get a call, they're always the last ones to get back. So
and you know Harden. In my opinion, Harden is not gonna. He's a roller coaster.
Roller coaster. So is Tobias Harris.
And that's what we live off of. I told you in the first round. Middleton's a roller coaster.
He's a roller coaster, and he showed up. He showed up
on the first round. But as much more as I expected from the past playoffs, he's a roller coaster. Now in this round, you have Randall and Barrett that were roller coaster.
They're not a roller. Those dudes are on the ground. That's a. Yeah.
Honestly, I'll give RJ not this game 6, but 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh yeah. He had a solid playoffs, but when it mattered most,
if you watch the game compared to the numbers, the shot selection Randall had, man, awful. Yeah. And here's my thing. I wish Tom Thibodeau had a legit offensive coordinator. Imagine if he had like a Steve Kerr on the side taking care of the offense,
or a D'Antoni, who doesn't have a job right now too.
Who doesn't have a job? The Knicks need an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
they have the talent.
They also need offensive players. They need shooting.
I just think, in my opinion, if you look at through Thibodeau's teams, the Derrick Rose team that was really good and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He never had that offense. He was always a defensive-oriented guy.
That's true.
Boozer.
Yeah.
He needs help on that offensive side to structure and hold accountable those offensive talents.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah,
you need
exactly.
Offense.
You need offense. You're going to see right now in this next game. If the Warriors don't hit shots, they're done.
Yeah, they're done. They're done if they don't make their shots against the Lakers.
And so do the Lakers. If AD doesn't show up, if LeBron, if the crew isn't hitting shots, the Lakers are in trouble. So this new era of the NBA is now come to who can hit these shots, because that's the skill level that we are at.
And to be fair, the Lakers do rely on inside shot making.
Inside out.
They're inside out, right? They're a little against the
Anthony
grain.
Davis,
right.
Anthony Davis, and then
so they have that going for them. But yeah, I mean, just to conclude this, I mean, it was a grimy series. It was like a mid 2000s ish series. We saw the score line. It's in the 90s.
It gives you back to the Bulls and Heat days.
Yeah, it really did. But yeah, man, I mean, thanks for, obviously we got together, we watched this game, we took some notes, we did our thing. We're going to do a pod sometime down the line, obviously. We get to know you a little bit more, talk about your coaching stuff. Coach Ant, appreciate you coming on the pod.
I appreciate you inviting me over here.
Yeah, of course, man. This is the All Things Basketball podcast, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.